Anibal, welcome. Hi, thanks for bearing with us.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you.
Just.
Okay, perfect. Let me know if it's okay to start.
Yeah, it's fine to start. You start.
Okay, perfect. Well, in this talk, we are going to be talking about instant search with Algolia. This is just a few slides I prepared to keep my mind order. About me, I am Anibal. I am the team leader and senior developer at Extly. We provide consulting services for web solutions, and also I am the current team leader of JED. So we are going to be also talking about what we are using on the site on JED to search. So if you need to ask me or if you have any question, feel free to interrupt me. I don't want to stop to talk all the time, so feel free to jump in. So okay, we're going to be talking about what is Algolia. Algolia is an online service that help us to search on our sites. The idea is that the service is complete. It provides everything that you need to perform a search on a site. What is amazing about Algolia is that it delivers research results immediately. It is a solution that you don't have to configure. The infrastructure is already set up, so it works almost automatically, and you only have to configure your site and the information that you want to send to Algolia, how the user is going to search. But the rest of the network and the server is already working, so you don't have to worry about how to configure the infrastructure. Also, what is also amazing is that it works worldwide. The same speed that you get here, you can have the same result on the other side of the world. So that's part of what you get with Algolia. And it also works. The widget that they provide, they also work on mobile devices or on a desktop. So with this solution, you are really improving the user experience on your site. They sell the service like search beyond the box. They sell the service with the vision that you are really innovating in the user experience. This is an ebook that they provide to introduce these ideas. I just copied some points from this ebook. The idea is that search really matters in the experience on your site. Users always remember if they can perform the search or if the search experience is very bad. So at the end of the day, if you improve the search, you get better business results on your site. That's the key of why it is better to invest on search. What they provide, the idea is that you improve the relevance of search results, not only from the point of view of the text matching, the algorithm that improves the text matchings. At the end of the day, you create you provide business relevance on your results. For example, the products that you render on your search are better from the user point of view. And that's what we are trying to achieve with these technologies. So to give you real world cases, I'm going to present a couple of cases of how they work and what we have done to improve the search experience. The first case is San Juan Turismo. San Juan is a province in Argentina. So we created this site with and improved the search with Algolia. We have a multilingual search. So we have several indexes, one for each language. We have a search box I'm going to show you the case, so it is easier to see how it works. This is the autocomplete search box. So you, for example, you search and these results are coming directly from Algolia, and these images are coming from the CDN integrated with your site. These images are not on Algolia. They don't store images. They only store the textual information that you search. So this is the autocomplete widget, and this is integrated with K2 and Soy Pro. So here, for example, in these search results, let me see if we can. All these search results are coming from Soy Pro. But if I write, for example, let me see where. For example, here we can find search results that they are also coming from K2. So in this in the indexes we can store not only one type of information. We are storing everything inside the indexes. This is one of the key differentiators of Algolia, that you store in a database everything in the index, so you can always add something more information, and you can always search inside the indexes, and everything is segmented and by scope or language. And this site is powered by our extension XT Search for Algolia. I'm going to be talking more about this extension later. Any question so far?
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay. So this is
just one question, Anibal. What's the scope? What's the scope that you can differentiate content by?
It depends. You can define the scopes of the information according to your business logic. In this case, for example, in here you have the global search that you can search in every record, in every index record. But for example, if you go to the directory, and you can search only in the directory. Here the same search is only searching inside Soy Pro information, not in the whole site. So this is the same.
And you can define these, can you?
Yeah. For example, the user can also filter by these facets, but everything is already segmented by Soy Pro, because it is the partial search that is defined here in this area.
So, for example, category and district, they will just be columns in a table?
Yes. We're going to navigate the backend and see how the information is indexed. Also, in this area of the site, of course, we are only searching in English. We are excluding the search results in the other languages. And okay, let's continue with the next slide. Of course, we are going to talk about JED. The JED, it is the integration with Algolia is built on top of the custom extension that powers the site. We have integrated the autocomplete and the instant search. And what is different from the other rest of the sites that I work on is that the search has a complex ranking system. So we are always sorting the indexes by the number of reviews and the internal scoring system of the extensions. I'm sure that you have already tested the shell. So, for example, if I search for Soy Pro, I get the results for Soy Pro. And if I want more results, I can find, for example, filter by the number of stars. And I'm going to get only search results filtered by the number of stars. And this is the main two functionalities widgets of Algolia. Algolia has the backend where you manage all the information, and the widget and the associated widget with the backend, they allow you to search inside the information that is in the index.
And do you need a different plugin for each type of information that you're indexing? So, for example, you'd need one for Joomla. You'd need one for Sobi Pro, you need one for Fabric. Would you need one for each of these extensions?
Yes, in some way you have to crawl the information and retrieve everything and send everything that you want to index to Algolia. In some way you have to do it always. In the case of JED, I have developed the code, the crawler, the extension crawler, to visit all extensions and send the information to Algolia. But yes, in our extension, in XT Search, we also are integrated several other extensions. I'm going to show you the backend. Okay, moving on. This is the instance search that we already talked about. So we are always talking about the search fields that they are indexed, and the facets. The facets are these filters that they are defined here. I think that in Algolia, we are always talking about the search fields, the facets, because they are the main ideas behind this kind of information modeling. And always, when we talk about Algolia pricing, is because this is an amazing service, but there's always a price, so we need to take into account how much this amazing service costs. For example, there's a free tier, but it is restricted for non-commercial use. The starter package is the most popular plan, I think, because it covers a lot. For most businesses, it is okay. If you have a huge site that requires a pro service or an enterprise services, I think that it really is worth the money, because mainly this is the Algolia pricing in each tier. For example, a pro site for them, it's a site with 1 million records. We are talking about an e-commerce site, for example, with 1 million products. So it's a huge site. A starter site, the starter service, it's already very big because you have 50,000 records. So it is big. I think that in most cases, the community package already covers a lot of use cases. Any question about the pricing?
Can we see it on the screen?
No, that sounds great. So for the ones that you're doing, what is the most common package that you're using?
With my clients, we always work with the starter package. Yeah, because I think that not even the JED the JED is also in this starter range. It is not even in the Pro. The Pro is huge.
So the traffic effectively isn't a part of the price; it's just the records.
Yeah.
Wow, so JED's using $29 a month.
Yeah, if you have more than if you have 5 million search operations, I think that you are going to be happy paying this amount of money for this kind of service, because it really worth money. Okay, moving on to the next slides. So how we search? In Joomla, we have the classic search. We are already familiar with this search. The basic search is mostly oriented to solve the case of simple search queries. It is powered by the SQL default engine. What basically Joomla does is executing plugins with independent queries and merging the results in a single list of with everything ordered by a single criteria. For example, you can you can return the search results indexed by name or alphabetically. And the performance of this search is always based on the same speed that your site delivers pages. In some way, I think that it is a slow way of rendering results. Now we have the smart search that is going to be featured in Joomla 4. It's going to be the only search method for Joomla 4. Yeah. It is better than the classic search because it has an index of information. So the full text search is better. Again, we need the plugins to integrate different queries in a search result, and the search results are all also ordered by a unique criteria, because they are basically combined from several sources. So at the end of the day, you're always breaking the query between several queries. And the performance is, at the end of the day, it is similar. On the other hand, in Algolia Search, you are also doing a full text search based on indexed information, but what really changes with Algolia is that they have this distributed search engine of that it works with a NoSQL database inside. We are going to check that the information that is indexed in Algolia is represented with a dynamic structure of fields. So they index that information dynamically, and they perform queries very fast on that information. And they are also providing a rich set of widgets integrated with this database. So this is what really it is a whole solution, because you combine the widgets with the associated database of information, and all of this is delivered directly from their servers worldwide. And that's the power of the solution that they offer.
Can you give an example of a widget?
Yeah, sure. For example, well, this is one of the widgets. No, this is. I'm going to show you the documentation because it's going to be better than explaining. For example, this is the instant search is the widget that renders this kind of interface. And in this case, you can search, for example, here. And this is the instant search, where you perform a query and it renders the facets here and the products in the middle. So you can combine this widget, for example, the refinement list, the hits, and the numeric menu in any way that you want. For example, you can filter by range, by stars. You can
so
combine.
Widgets are front-end integrations then.
Sorry?
Websites. So So the widgets are front-end integrations for the website. They don't have anything to do with how the search query works.
Yeah, and you can combine them. For example, they are independent. It is not the instant search is not is the combination of all widgets. Here you have a breadcrumb widget, you have stats, you can sort by different criteria, or you can customize this combination of widgets in any way that you want. This is the most advanced combination of widgets. You can also have the autocomplete. The autocomplete is the single search box, and this is the two most common widgets. There's also the geo search, where you can, for example, navigate information ordered by geographically. This is where I am right now, and yeah, and that's a good showcase of the widgets. So in Algolia, when we talk about Algolia in a CMS like Joomla, we have an indexer process that crawls the information and sends everything to their database. You can also process the indexing events. For example, when you add a new product, you can add only one product to their database. And we already talked about the search modules and the widget that they provide. So in Joomla, we are going to be talking about these ideas of combining the process to index and the widget that we're going to use. When we talk about the implementation for GED, we have already checked how it works, and we can also review the documentation that I wrote about what because in GED we have our GED developers that they want to reproduce this search and try to improve how GED works. So this is the documentation, how to configure Algolia to reproduce the same search that we have on the live site, and everyone can reproduce and configure the index in the same way to get the same results. For example, when you work with Algolia, you create an index and you go to, this is the Algolia backend. This is a development account. So for example, when you go to indexes, you can create your indexes, create a new index. I have already created the index for the stage site. This is the information that we use when we develop for GED. You can notice that here the information is scrambled because it is not working with the real database. So some information is scrambled. For example, Akio Akap, the user that owns the Akio Akap is not the real user. It is scrambled in some way. Yes, I'm going to show, for example, here we can find the information that is indexed, or it is already populated with the database from GED, and you can notice that the same widgets that Algolia give us for our site, they are using the same widgets here on the backend. This is an instant search, and they are using to showcase how this works. For example, if I search for Soy Pro, you can notice that the same search experience on this side that you get on the site. And here you can find the facets. Of course, you can notice that the information is not translated or from the user point of view, but you can notice that, for example, here this is the score that it is translated to stars. And for example, here in the record, we can find everything that is indexed here. We can notice, for example, that internally the information it is stored in a JSON database here. This is a JSON, the structure that we send from the site. And you can notice that everything is indexed in this way in their database, in the Algolia database, and they build the internal information based on this data structure. I could change it here. It will immediately be reflected in the database. So this is the index of record, the facets, and the search information. Now we are going to be going to what is most interesting, that is the search attributes and how the information is ordered. In the configuration, you can configure the information that you're going to be searching on. Here we search for the category, the body, the title, the tags of the extension, and the user. And it is ordered in this way. The first fields are mainly how you configure the matching algorithm. And the other fields, this is our custom fields that they are defined here to change how the results are retrieved by score or the number of review. Of course, if I change this and I move the score on top of the algorithm, is going to change how the results are retrieved and affect the site. This is only on stage, but you can notice that it is immediately reflected on the search results. For example, here, when I search for Soy Pro, based on the configuration of the algorithm, I can find why it is showing Soy Pro in the first place. And they say, for example, that the custom ranking is the number of review. This information gives me a lot of tips why it is shown on the first place of the search results. I don't know if I'm talking too much about all of this. This is very complex. I don't know. It is okay? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Are you still with me?
Yeah, I've had the advantage. I've watched a few of the videos, and this is really good.
Okay, and the final point that is very important is the facets. The facet that you define here to filter the information. The facets here. Also in the configuration, you can define the facets that you are going to be applied based on the available attributes. For example, here we have the category. We could filter by the owner, but we are not using it. We are this is the type of information and what you use the facets for. So I think that the best part of this configuration is that it works immediately. You can index all the information that you want. You can send everything here. They don't measure the megabytes or the storage that you use on the database. They only count the number of records, and after that you can configure freely everything, the search, the attributes, the order, or the facets. You can change everything, and it is immediately impacted on the site. That's what it's really worth the service. Back to the presentation. Any question?
The thing I'm kind of curious, which I didn't quite find from the videos, was, so let's say I've built my own little component and I'm storing stuff into a table, and I've got my own ranking or whatever and all of that. And I wanted to use, so I've got this product with an ID, it's got a name, and it's got a rank. And if I wanted to rank as a facet, how would I then go about that?
The API that you use for Algolia allows you to do a lot of operations. In my case, under my view, I prefer to use everything to manage everything on this area of the site. So I focused my work sending the information to Algolia. So you can index everything inside Algolia, and you configure here. You are free to configure everything without taking care of. You balance the configuration here on Algolia. You don't configure everything on the Joomla side. I don't know if I'm clear about that, because it is better to work with Algolia configuration here and only index the information on the Joomla side. So the main focus of the extension on Joomla side is crawling the information and sending everything to Algolia, and everything else, and you can do the rest of the tasks here on the backend.
Right. But how would I send that particular column to become a facet? On Joomla, you send this JSON structure. You define this. Okay.
Yeah. In Joomla, you define this structure. You can notice that here you are also representing arrays, or so you can send, for example, what extension includes. That includes a component, modules, and plugins. From Joomla, you send this kind of data structure. That's it. That's the only thing that you have to do on Joomla side. Yes. And after that, you can configure how Algolia works here. After that, you configure the widgets to render this information on the front end. So you have three different steps. The first step is to crawl the information. The second step is to configure Algolia to work as you want. And the final step to define how the widgets render the search results. And that's it. And the good part is that you can configure these three stages in different moments. You don't have to configure everything to work. You can prototype this kind of behavior very quickly, because you can start crawl, you can configure, and you can configure and render the results with the widget. At the same time, you are improving the crawler or configuring the information or changing the widgets. So yeah, that's the good part of developing with based on Algolia. For example, this is the autocomplete widget, where you define how the instant search is going to work. They are already on the third version of this widget, so it is already very optimized and easy to use. In our extension, what we do is mainly work on the crawler and on the widget configuration. So what we offer is mainly a component for index the information, and the pre-configured modules to render the information, parts indexed. the indexed information. We are already working with Joomla 3 and 4, and we have already integrated the extension also with PrestaShop, and we are also working to provide the same extension for WordPress and WooCommerce. And to show you an example how this works, this is our demo site. So here we can also, this is a demo from the information for the demo site. This is our backend for the extension. It is very simple today. The idea is that you only want to index the information and send everything to Algolia. So on this side, you only configure the connectors that you are going to integrate. For example, here we are integrating Joomla articles, JReviews, and Soy Pro. In the Algolia, I'm not going to show you, but I'm going. Okay. This is the keys for the service. I have to change the keys. Yeah. Okay. Well, so you configure the Algolia connection and the connector information that you're going to index, and you click here or incremental indexing to send only the new information to the new data to Algolia. And after that, you have the modules that render the for example, instance search. So you only have to describe the fields that you're going to use or the facets. Here we have only one facet configured. Only the category, so that's it. It renders the widget from Algolia with this information that it's already indexed. And let me show you what else we have here. This is a PrestaShop site. The PrestaShop site, it works similarly. As you can notice, the speed is very fast. And again, I'm showing the keys to access. And this is the information that you use to configure the PrestaShop site.
We'll just fudge out the last 20 minutes.
Sorry?
We'll just blur out the last 20 minutes, don't worry.
Okay.
And
No problem.
My question would be, you showed there you could select articles and that sort of thing, but what if you have your own component? Is there a plugin that could be written for your product that would allow the searching of the tables for your own component?
I think that if you are developing an extension, I think that it is very easy to integrate the Algolia API with your extension, and it's really no need to use another extension to access the.
So you do it directly?
Yeah, because it is not complex. You can find here the documentation. It is a REST API, so. And you only have to send the JSON structure of your data record, so it is not complex.
Okay.
Is it simple to write a? Because you used connector, you had connectors there in your configuration in the back end. So you showed 3 different connectors. Is that?
Yeah.
Is there a plan to increase the number of connectors that you have available in your extension?
Yeah. right now we are adding new connectors every week.
Okay.
We are not adding them as plugins. We have we have integrated the connectors directly in the extension because I think that it is simpler for us to add the connectors and release new versions.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that we are keeping this extension very simple. We are not distributing separated plugins. We are only integrating the adapters in the extension. We are coming from experience from other extension where we already created a lot of plugins. And for example, we have Juicial, our other extension,
Mm-hmm.
that is based on plugins because it has a lot of plugins already integrated with extension, and it is complex to support all these kind of numbers of plugins. So on XT Search, we are trying to work directly with adapters, including information, and avoid the complexities of plugin integration.
Okay.
Could I use this? Could I use this to make my own sort of custom search engine? Say I only wanted to search for a certain type of products throughout the whole internet. Could I do something like that?
If you can repeat the question, because you're not near the microphone.
If I were to do like a search engine to search throughout the internet, not just a site, could I do something like that where I search for maybe one particular type of product?
I don't know. I don't know. I think that Algolia is optimized for this kind of search, a specific search for I don't know, your own systems, or but I don't know if you want to extend it to index other kinds of information. I think that you could do it, but I don't know. The thing is, if you can really represent the information that you want to search in this kind of structure. Yes, because that's the key of the key value of this system, that you need to translate your internal information, your system, into this representation to be able to search into the database. So if you can represent the information in this data structure, yes, you could use Algolia for that. But I think that it is a very specific use case.
Okay, cool, thanks.
I think that if you want to go and index other kinds of information, I think that Elasticsearch could be a better choice for you, because Elasticsearch is a different search engine that is better suited, but different information. For example, I don't know, documents or other complex information. Algolia is specialized on this kind of data structures. That's it. This is the presentation. I don't know if you have more questions.
Oh, thank you. No, that's really good. I noticed, having looked through the Algolia thing beforehand, they've got an awful lot of videos which go through the various aspects, and I think they're actually very well done. I was impressed that the project seems to have tried to reach out to developers and make it as easy as possible to integrate, and you know, with your own products as well, you're making it very simple for Joomla to use it in the core. When did Jed turn over to using Algolia?
I don't know. I think that we started using Algolia 6 1 year ago, I think.
1 year ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I must admit, if ever I wanted to search for anything on the JED, I'd put it into Google. Because
Okay. Yeah.
it was the classic case that we'd search on JED and it was like, no, it's not there.
Yeah.
Searching Google, oh, you can find it on the JED. And I think I've just got into that habit. And I know recently I did do a search and was very surprised at how good JED seemed to come back.
Yeah.
And I put it just down to being I was lucky with my key terms, but actually this would explain why.
Yeah, but you know that the case that you're describing is what users do, because if the user can't find information on the site, you lost the client in favor of Google, because people are going to search with Google.
Yeah.
If they are searching for a product, they're going to find the product in Google, and Google is going to offer other links. So you are potentially losing the client.
Yeah.
And one of the ideas for introducing Algolia into JED it was that I wanted to reclaim back our users from Google, because if we improve the search and we tailor the search algorithm, we can provide better search results than Google.
Yes.
And that's our advantage.
And have you seen the measurements, the analytics reflect that, Anibal? Have you had a chance to have a look at the impact that the search has had on user behavior in the JED?
I didn't have the time to look into that, but you know that in our package we don't have the analytics, but Algolia provides a lot of information of that kind. Let me see if I can show you from other accounts.
Has anybody watched Joomla?
Let me see if I can show you other accounts. And I'm going to share the screen again. For example, this is the kind of information that Algolia provides. That in the you have a measure of the daily number of searches and the number of indexing the records against the total that you have available, the number of indexing operation versus the number that you have that you are allowed. In the analytics, you have to select. You can have a lot of indexes. You can. Let me see if I can show you. No, all of this. In the community account, you only have 1 week of information, so this kind of restricted. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been interesting just to see the impact.
Yeah, that did seem to be the biggest difference in the different packages, is the amount of information you get. So the community, that is just a week, and so it goes on further you go. So you kind of got to be quite disciplined in taking your information out if you're going to have the cheaper versions.
Yeah. And that's the. I think that you got the idea of the service and what you can do.
I've been very impressed. I've looked at quite a few of the other sites that they advertise that they're being used for, and across the board, the speed on the instant search was very, very quick.
Yeah. It is really impressive.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, this is exactly what I want for projects, and I think quite a few others here are developers, and I wasn't aware of it until I saw your product and read through that. So, and that was only a month ago. So that's been really, really useful.
Yeah.
It's kind of the conversation you don't want to have with clients when you're using a Joomla platform. It's like, oh, and they're talking about search, and can we search everything? And oh yeah, you'll be able to search, and you just don't really want to go into detail in the conversation, you know. And then you start using smart search, and it's not so smart.
Yeah. Yes, I think that we don't have to compare the smart search with Algolia. Algolia is a different kind of service.
Yeah.
It really it is really in another category.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. What is important is that you can get the same performance on mobile. So, for example, it's really a different experience when you visit a Joomla site with this kind of search technology. You load the site, and the client can immediately start searching and getting results without delays. So it's a really different kind of experience.
Yeah, but not just that, but also getting highly relevant results.
Yeah.
You know, very often you put in a search in a Joomla search. I know it's silly to compare, but you know, a lot of clients will come back and say, why is this in there? Why am I seeing these? What are these categories for? You know, what's all this for?
Yes. For example, here when we configure the shed search, I'm going to show you again yes, this part of ranking configuration, this is very complex. You can really, for example, change how the algorithm works. If you want to, for example, if you want to match the extension title, we have to move this textual search here, because if we move this parameter here, it was a totally different experience, right? Because you were not getting the extension with the exact title on top of the rest of the extension. So these kind of changes are very important. It seems to be so easy to change it, but it really changes how the information is retrieved. Yeah.
But also, I was looking in one of the videos, and it showed you how you could ask, why is this product not showing? You go into this area, and it will give you the scores and everything, and you can analyze why it's not showing, and then change the search parameters so that you can push that particular product.
Yeah. Here you have the ranking information that you can debug why a product is searched on top of the other. For example, here in our documentation, when we had to replace the old search, we have the comparison between Algolia and the legacy query to really confirm that they are better results, but they are not so different than the old search. So we get better results, but not so different from the old search.
That's really good.
Yeah. It was complex. For example, another important point in Joomla search is that you want to retrieve first the parent extensions. You want to show, for example, SoyPro first, and not the extensions integrated with SoyPro, because the important match is SoyPro, not the. If you search for SoyPro, you want SoyPro on top, and the rest of the integrated extensions they have to go after SoyPro. So this is the custom ranking that forces that the parent extension goes first.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that. We're going to be locked in this building if we don't go now. So thank you for that.
Okay.
It's been really useful.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Brilliant.
Thanks, Anibal.
Fantastic.
Bye. Thank you.
Hopefully see you in London in November.
He's hung up.